Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Shoes Off Inside with me, May Lee, Kelly Hu, Tamlyn, Tamina. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Happy New Year.
I know, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Last time we did an episode was doing our holiday favorite things right before Christmas and the holidays.
Correct.
And now here we are in the new year, 2024. How's everyone feeling in the new year?
I'm a little stressed because I bought this new house in Vegas.
Yes, which
and now I've got two houses that I have to fix up because I have to fix up this old one still. And then not working since the strike.
Yeah.
It's been really
stressful.
dry, and I'm not so much worried about financially as like I'm worried like, have I forgotten how to act after all this?
Oh, come on.
Oh my God.
Like to be horrible.
But also your next season of BFD is coming out, so you got to work that muscle too, that PR muscle. So again, you're always in the middle place of everything. So I understand what you're feeling, but also it's the big move, to Vegas.
Yeah,
so.
BMF, right? Black Mafia Family.
Because that our show premieres on the 1st of March.
So there you go. Yeah. So the whole month of February is dedicated to
all PR.
That's right. Yeah. So you will be busy. You will be busy.
Yeah. I am. I've been busy.
Yeah.
Yay.
And Tamlyn, I know the last Airbender is about to come out, isn't it?
Yes, Airbender is coming out in February 24th. I think Monarch: Legacy of Monsters just finished its 10 episodes, and then Blue-Eyed Samurai is out, and so those two projects are out on Netflix. So those are So it was a nice little season of little things that I got to do. But then for May and Kelly to see Daniel and I in Spring Awakening over at East West Players before Christmas was really a lovely, lovely act of sisterhood.
Absolutely.
And now it's like 2024, and we've got the elections coming up. We've got New Year's of the dragon.
Yeah, the dragon.
You being a Korean American, what does it mean that it's the year of the blue dragon?
I saw that on social media today. Somebody else asking that question. And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the color. Okay. We all have elements. We all have elements.
Yeah,
wood,
and I thought Zodiac too, Koreans.
Oh yeah, the lunar.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that, you guys. I thought that was only a Chinese thing.
No.
I think it's all Asian countries except the Philippines. And Japan.
Yeah. Yep.
And they do Zodiac.
That do the Zodiac,
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm the
Zodiac.
I'm the year of, in Korean, I'm the year of the white horse. In Chinese, it's fire horse, and that only happens every 60 years.
Right.
So we definitely follow the Chinese Zodiac, but
right. Okay.
Yeah. So 2024. Yeah. So for me, it ended a little rough, and then it started rough, but it's gotten better, and I have a lot more focus and clarity on so many different things. So I'm definitely trying to focus on the most important things that matter to me, and kind of let go of all this other shit that we get so worked up about. And you know what that includes? Now, this might be difficult in this election year. I have definitely weaned myself off of watching and listening to the news as much as I used to.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah. You know how hard that is for me.
I used to be obsessed.
Yeah, no, but that's really hard for me. But I've got to tell you, I don't now immediately turn on the news and leave it on. And even in the car, I try not to listen to the news as much as possible. Now, this is an experiment for me, but it's working so far.
I'm so glad that you're doing this, because there was a moment when you and I first connected where I was really worried for you. I remember you on your kitchen floor, huddled up next to your oven.
That was during the election. That was during the election.
And sorry?
It was during the election, right?
During the election.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I just thought she is going to break.
She's gonna
And
break.
I was really worried. That oven was right there. I was worried that the door was going to come in, your head was going to get, I
Oh
mean,
my
like,
God.
like,
Wow.
No. It wasn't that extreme. But yes, you did notice that, and that's how it can get to me. Now, I'm a news person, so of course, I like to be informed, but I've realized I don't have to be informed 24/7. It's not like I'm going to miss anything. If something earth-shattering happens, or if there's something important that I need to know, I'm gonna hear about it, and I'm gonna see it. So
right.
this is good. It's a good start to me trying to go through, sort of weeding stuff out of my life that really is so toxic in so many
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And that,
Brava
yeah,
to you.
thank you.
Brava to
So,
you.
but
Yeah.
things that are not toxic our guest today on the show. Far from
180
toxic,
degrees from toxic.
180 from toxic. And we are talking about the one and only Daniel Henney.
Wow.
Wowza. In so many
Yowza.
ways. But here's the
Yeah.
thing. Look, Kelly's speechless right now. She can't even speak.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, if I was a fan before, after doing this interview, like,
Oh.
wow.
Yeah.
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 What a great guy.
Okay, so Kelly's obviously giving away the fact that we've already done the interview. So now we're going to be introducing the interview that we just did, because that's kind of how we put the show together. So we just finished the interview with Daniel Henney. Daniel is somebody I've known since 2007 when we first met in Asia. And so we've been friends since. But he is salt of the earth, Midwestern boy from Michigan, hugely popular, famous in Korea, all of Asia, and globally because of his acting and his modeling and all of that. But he is a guy who truly has remained, grounded in every way.
Yeah.
As
Because he lays on the ground with his doggy.
exactly, a
Talking
huge
about
dog
a
lover.
doggy daddy.
Huge
He
dog
is,
lover,
yes,
and you're going to
huge,
hear
yeah.
all about what he has done for dogs and rescuing dogs, and some things that have been happening in South Korea lately, and very recently, actually.
Very recently, yeah.
But this was a comprehensive interview with Daniel Henney, who is really one of my favorite people. So here is that interview. But yeah,
I didn't know this was going to be a 4 people thing, and then I did a little research and I found out that it was, and I'm so pumped because I'm obviously, I love you, May, and we go back a long way, but I'm a huge fan of both of you. Absolutely no bullshit.
Thank you.
Oh
Kelly,
my God.
we're part of the X-Men world.
yes.
Oh,
And
Together.
thank you.
I was in that strike, and I thought you did a
Yes.
fantastic job.
Yes.
Tamlyn,
Actually,
I have to tell you, Karate Kid Part 2 affected me greatly.
Right?
Like it did so many
sure
people.
anyway.
Oh my God. You're so kind, and you're so, and May, are you recording?
I am.
Okay. Because when I first met Daniel Henney in person, it was for a screening, if not the premiere of his love story movie that Janet Yang produced.
Yeah, Shanghai Calling.
Shanghai, I was
Oh.
going Shanghai Rising, Shanghai. Yeah, so I couldn't remember. So, and again, May and I were talking about today's show, and she says, "Oh yeah, my very good friend Daniel Henney," and I go, "La la 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 la," like, because to meet, our movie star idols in person. I don't care who you are. It's like when you saw Brie Larson meet Jennifer Lopez. I was like, "Oh my God, bow down to you, bow down."
Oh,
Like,
that's
it's the
right. Yeah,
fan.
that was recent.
And then you have been a topic of many conversations over the years, ever since your introduction to this world, and not just specifically the Asian American world. It's like, all right, on their very best days, who would you rather be with? Russell Wong, Daniel Henney, Henry Golding, and now for the Gen Z kids, it's Darren Barnett from Never Have I Ever. So it's like all you beautiful Hoppa men. It's like, oh, that's a hard decision. Yes.
That's a
So you
tough
have
one.
been in my imagination and many others' imagination for a very long time. And we just love, watching you ascend and rise and finding your voice and finding your way through
Wait,
this very
Tamlyn?
complicated.
I
Yeah.
almost want to ask you what in your imagination were you thinking about Daniel? But we won't go there. We won't go there.
Oh no! I'll tell you.
Okay.
It was the Korean commercial where they use, oh God, it's just a simple commercial. And I think you blew up with the series of commercials with Gwyneth Paltrow, but there was another, it's just Daniel Henney in a bar, and it's that old school R&B song. Oh God, what is that song?
Tell us, Daniel. You know, he's waiting for you to like stumble.
I know.
There's been a few commercials. I've been very lucky in the commercial world in Korea, so there's a bunch of them. But I did a beer commercial 3 or 4 years ago with what's that song? Is it Way Down? The Way Down We Go. It's kind of like a jazzy song.
Yeah. That one too. But it's just you waiting for her at the bar. And
I
that
kind of
R&B,
remember that. Yeah,
I do a lot of that. I just wait at bars by myself, drinking a martini. I'm really that guy. It's so funny to me because there's this image of like, especially in Korea.
You know what? And you're selling the product, and every single time my mother and I go to the Galleria, which is the Korean supermarket here and specifically in Northridge, there's a coffee brand. It's like, oh, I got to buy this coffee because Daniel's on it.
Well, Daniel, you sell it well.
Did you start your career doing commercials?
It's a long story short. I was doing like JCPenney and Kohl's ads in the States as a model. I went to an open call with my mom. She took my pictures in the basement with a black and white camera, and I like posed with, I had like frosted tips, like self-frosted tips. That was cool back then. I did like all those things. Took my pictures to an open model call, and they were excited about me signing with an agency. So I did. I had no idea what I was doing. And I signed with an agency in Chicago called Suzanne's.
How old were you?
I was 20.
Oh, okay.
Suzanne's A+ Talent. And I started doing some like print jobs. Long story short, they got bought out by Ford. I got picked up, and then a scout came from Hong Kong, and I went to Hong Kong and started working in commercials and other modeling, runway and stuff like that.
Well, but your ethnicity is what?
My mom is Korean, 4'10" firecracker Korean, and my father is now, because he did 23andMe, he knows he's like English and Nordic, which he really likes the Nordic part of it.
Okay, that's where the height comes from for you, Daniel.
I guess that's what
your dad. Yeah. He's 6'1", 6'2". Are you 6'2"?
No, I'm 6'2". My dad is 5'10".
Okay. Oh. Okay. Yes.
So we don't know. It's a mystery.
Well, here's the thing. So I was saying before, and then you guys yelled at me for not starting to record, so now I'm recording. I was saying that Daniel and I first met in, I think it was 2007 or 8 in Sydney, Australia, because we were both invited. Oh. We were both invited to the Moet Chandon. Moet Hennessy. Yes, it was an event by Moet Chandon down in Sydney, very swanky. Daniel was, of course, invited as a superstar. I was invited. I'm not sure why I was invited. I think they thought like I was like the Asian Oprah or something like that. But that's when I was able to interview Daniel for the first time. Yeah. And I met him for the first time. And I've told this story to an audience before. Never have I ever met somebody in person who literally took my breath away when he walked in the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't showered that morning. I was a little.
Yes, exactly. I was like choking.
It was more like a.
Yeah. No. You really did. I remember sitting there going, "Oh my God, how am I gonna fucking do this interview and not be distracted?" But I will say, because I was a professional, the interview was great. And what I loved about Daniel from that in the interview was that you were so down to earth.
Yep.
So real, unaffected. I concur. And years, remember, that was 2007, 2008. And to now, because Daniel and I just went to a Clippers game a couple weeks ago, and he is exactly the same. You are exactly the same.
So you guys started your friendship right after that interview. You guys?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was nice for me too, because I'd been working in Korea for 3 or 4 years at that point. Things had gone pretty crazy over there. I was on a show called My name is, My Lovely's Hamsun is a Korean drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really took off. And so as you guys probably know, in Asia, the fans are really intense.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of in this vacuum for a while, and meeting May was like, it was just nice to sit down and do an English interview, like a proper English interview.
Yeah.
And we connected. So, and it was the first time someone had asked me about my past and my mom and the journey with real interest. It was less about like, the outside stuff, the looks and the projects, more about like who I was as a person. So it was nice.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Sorry, I was just gonna say one thing. When you're interviewed by somebody who understands your background because they've lived it too, that's where it makes a difference. And that's where representation makes such a difference in media. As an interviewer, as a journalist, as an actor, all of that. It's like when you understand somebody's story because you are that as well, it makes such a difference in having a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
I was going to ask, did you grow up speaking Korean?
No, my mom still can't speak. So I grew up my white side was big when I was younger. I grew up in an all white town, about 900 people, 4 churches, 6 1 McDonald's. And I'm talking town, 30 miles of cornfields, 30 miles of cornfields.
Wow.
Let's go have deer hunting season off from school, if that's any indication.
Yeah.
So no. And so I went to Hong Kong first. I lived there for 2 years. I was working the Asian circuit as a model. And then I ended up in Korea in 2005. Got lucky and got cast in that drama. But that's when I started learning Korean.
This drama without being able to speak the language.
He was a Korean American in the drama.
They were looking for a character that was kind of like, he'd come from the States. He was a doctor.
Yeah.
And I had just done a commercial there that it was pretty popular. At that time, commercials weren't being shown before movies in theaters. That was the first commercial that was shown like during the trailers in theaters. So it kind of got some pop from that. And so they knew my face and so it helped me out a little bit.
Yeah, I totally remember you coming out because of that fact that you were an American of Korean descent and that they made the Korean television industry, whatever you want to call it, made room for you because they wanted to be able to cross the bridge and recognize what it means to be Korean and what it also means to be Korean American, who has a desire, an interest, a love to be able to go back to his or her homeland and create the stories there. I think Korea has that mark on their side, is that, trying to bridge the gap, cross the pond with these stories that are not only intergenerational, but specifically intercultural, because you growing up as literally an all-American boy, everybody wants to have that small town experience, growing up on, Green Acres or something like that, or, Mayberry, because it's bucolic. Everybody knows each other. Everybody takes care of each other. The idyllic one, the stereotypical American, small town, loving family, a good school, a good church, good community, and then cornfields and running around, with your girlfriend.
Your Korean mom.
Yeah. And then she's going to be able to cook your, Korean foods and everything like that. But knowing you, learning and being diligent in learning Korean and immersing yourself in Korean American culture, it was like, this is what we need, that cross-pollination. And you are one of those first, in the early aughts. And I do remember the song, Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't no sunshine. And you're sitting there, it's like, oh my God, he's so beautiful.
He's
it's
so
like,
dreamy.
I hope the girl of his dreams enters the bar and sweeps him away. Anyway, but again, just marking your path was really significant in seeing that. I think, Kelly and I have always said ever since we were here in Hollywood, it's like, we need to go out and tell people to breed, because it is about people falling in love and collecting these stories that really are relational. It's because bottom line, we're all human.
Yeah.
And, specifically your Korean American background, our, Heinz 57 Kelly here, and me and May being, specifically Korean American and Japanese, Filipino, Okinawan. It's just like, we all find out that we all pretty much relate the same way. So I
Yeah,
just want to applaud you for
you
your
know what? And
background.
also, Daniel, maybe you can speak about this too, because back then when you did My Lovely Samsung, Korea was still at a point where they still weren't that open to Western culture, in the sense that they didn't like Koreans who didn't speak Korean, right? They were still very judgmental. I remember going to Korea as a kid, during the summers, and my Korean wasn't so good, and I would be scolded by taxi drivers and people at the market telling me, what is wrong with you? You should be ashamed of yourself. And by your character being introduced in that K-drama that was hugely successful,
It was huge.
it kind of made it more acceptable, or at least people sort of tuned into that concept, perhaps in some ways. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't take any credit for that. I really think it was timing. I think I got super lucky. It was at a time in the culture when they were sort of, unbeknownst to them, kind of opening up to that idea.
Yeah.
I think, the country of Korea, they've always loved American projects, American films. And they were kind of looking for that Richard Gere type character, I think. And I think I filled that for some people.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was Korean helped. But you're right. I mean, I remember we had to sort of lobby with the censorship board in Korea, because they wouldn't allow anyone to speak English as a principal character in a drama.
Oh.
And so I had to jump through a bunch of hoops, and I'm sure I had a bunch of doors open for me that I still to this day don't know about. But I auditioned many times, and I had to write letters to the studio. And I mean, I was just a young, hungry actor. I was doing stuff in New York off Broadway, and I was really chomping at the bit for my first part. And it was a process, but no, you're right. They were definitely more closed than they are now. And it's definitely not because of me. I was just lucky to be a vehicle for that.
Yeah.
What were these letters that you wrote?
I still have them. I have one that was to the studio about my commitment to acting, about how I try to become I was just really starting out in acting. I was taking classes in New York. I was 24. And, it was about my commitment to the craft and about what I could do with the character. And then there was one I had to write about my family, my mom, where she's from, being from Busan, being adopted after the war, that whole background. And the same thing was to the censorship board, just so they got an idea that I was in fact Korean. That was a big deal to them. Yeah. And that somehow all came together and worked in my favor.
But here's the thing, Daniel. I mean, it's amazing now what's happened in Korea, right? With television and film. I mean, the explosion worldwide.
K-pop.
K-pop.
It is amazing. But the thing is, having worked there since 04, 05, we always kind of knew. There was times when even when I was just a model, the quality of the editorial spreads, the quality of the photographers, and even the commercial directors, the stuff you get back that, I'd go shoot a commercial somewhere else and it just wasn't the same. And I'd do something in Korea and the quality was amazing.
Yeah.
And into movies and TV dramas, the story, the writing was so cool, and so good. These directors, the Bong Joon-ho's and the Park Chan, they're all amazing. And
they're amazing.
It was a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. I've had one experience shooting one of my episodes of my talk show back then in Seoul. And the crew that was hired to do this was I felt like I was on a movie set or something.
Yeah.
It was so professional. It sort of blew my mind. Yeah.
Are there unions?
There is now. It's the beginning stages. That was the hardest part about working in Korea, especially for me being from the West for a long time, was to understand how hard we were going to work and how that was just going to be accepted. We would have nurses on set with sort of vitamin B injections.
Wow.
Because we'd work 3 days with no sleep, you'd shower instead of sleeping. We had multiple accidents on set because of it. I had a terrible accident on set one night because of it that I still think about to this day.
What happened?
I was doing an action sequence with a young actor, and it was our third day awake and our third night awake. And it was meant to be a sort of, he walked away from me, then I walked away from him rather. And then I kind of turned around and did like a blind punch to his face. And we rehearsed it twice. And the first time he was too far. The second time he was too close. Third time we got the distance right. And then something went wrong. And I ended up breaking his orbital socket and whole cheekbone. And they had to put a metal plate in his face.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That was a lot of letters to his parents and a lot of time at the hospital and hoping I didn't just ruin this kid's career.
Right. Oh my God. That's
Is
traumatic.
he still active?
He is. He healed, luckily. And here's the thing. In typical Korean fashion, he came back to set that night and finished the scene from the opposite
And
side.
finished the scene. Oh my God.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
of
God.
course. It's that work ethic.
That
Yeah.
Korean, that Korean
Yeah.
toughness, man. That's a little extreme though. Wow.
Yeah, they don't fuck around.
Yeah, they do not fuck around. So Daniel, so I want to kind of transition into our favorite subject, but one last question, which is Wheel of Time. You've been in that series for 3 seasons now. Is it going to a 4th?
We don't know.
You don't know that yet. Okay.
I would think it will. We just, you know how it is with streaming's even stranger.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to know where the show stands, what's happening. But I think we probably will. I'm going in 2 weeks to South Africa to shoot my stuff for season 3 because the show is so huge that we shoot in units.
Okay.
So we're going to shoot my stuff with Rosamund Pike stuff in South Africa. Then we're wrapping season 3 for us. And I would imagine we'd hear something.
Okay. Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for that. Good luck.
Yeah. And then now transitioning into your latest film in Korea.
Yeah.
And I can't believe you did a film about dogs. It's called Dog Days. Right?
Literally Dog Day in English and Korean?
Yeah. Dog.
Okay.
Yeah, Korean is Dogdaeju.
Dogdaeju. Yeah.
Dogdaeju.
So so this is coming out February 6th. Is that when it's coming out? Something like that?
Oh, soon.
Yeah, February 7th in Korea.
Yeah.
It's fun. It was supposed to be a Christmas movie. I think they pushed it to Chuseok.
Okay.
But it's kind of like in the vein of like a Love Actually, that kind of film, but with dogs. It's about, people having certain habits and patterns in their life and not being able to look beyond those patterns. And sometimes a furry friend can change that for you.
개팔자가 상팔자구만. 나? 그냥 가면 어떻게 해요?
사과하시는 게 좋겠네요. 차 범퍼야 다시 갈면 되지만 살아있는 건 귀한 거예요. 안 그러냐, 만다야?
같은 애견인으로서
못생겼는데 귀엽네요.
만다, 들어가자.
사장님.
아니 근데 왜 차장님이에요?
주차장에 사시니까 차장님.
그래서 부탁드려. 저 또라이 아니야? 앉아. 무슨 소리야?
사장님 앉아.
예?
앉아.
사장님 앉으라고. 앉아.
It's really cool to see this in Korea because, that dogs have been a controversial issue, put it that way, for a long time in Korea.
Yeah.
And now to have a feature film with dogs at the center of it is a clear step forward.
Yeah, clearly. And let's talk about what just changed in Korea.
Yes.
Which is the new ban on dog meat farms and restaurants, right? This is a big deal. It's a very big deal. And Daniel, you've been very much a part of this movement for a while. So first and foremost, your reaction to this ban.
Yeah, pretty. When I got a call from my colleagues at Humane Society International when they found out. They've been in the trenches for a decade working on the dog meat trade issue.
Yeah.
I've been with them for, I think, 8 years now. We work closely with them, with K-Dog Rescue, and with Dog Us Planet. We kind of hit it as a team. And yeah, it's been a long journey. I think you guys can all relate to this. When you get to some level of being a public figure, you look for something to latch onto as a cause. And it was always a little difficult for me. I didn't have anything naturally that came to me. I just, it was kind of, I was searching for a while, and then it just very easy when it came to me. I should just help puppies out. Because I've grown up with dogs, and it's always been something close to my heart. So yes, as far as I know, the ban on dog meat sales is done, consumption as well. And over the next 3 years, I believe, I could be wrong, but we're phasing out the farms.
Yeah.
Which is a tricky issue because a lot of that it's people's livelihoods.
It's transitional, right?
It's transitional and it's generational. So you have families who have handed these farms down, and it's easy to demonize, and it's understandable, but it's something that has to be approached with empathy and understanding. That's how we've, not me, but the change has been enabled because it's been approached from that angle, I think. It was bound to happen sooner or later. I didn't think it was going to be this soon, but I couldn't be more happy.
Well, I mean, let's talk about possibly why. One factor is the President Yoon, and the First Lady. Yeah, First Lady. They have 6 rescue dogs. You got? Did you know that, Tamlyn and Kelly? They're huge dog lovers. Huge.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I know that they've been advocating for this to a certain extent, right? So that's certainly helped. But here's the thing I want to talk to all of you guys about, because I think this is important. It's, at face value, of course, everyone's like, oh my God, of course we have to ban this, practice. You can't eat dogs, right? Because they're pets. But this is a tradition that's, been centuries old in Korea, maybe even thousands of years old. And so some people argue, well, listen, how is this different from eating a cow or a pig or a chicken, right? Because in Korea, they look at dogs as meat, right?
Mhm.
Not the way we look at them, certainly, because you guys know how much I love my dogs. So it is one of those things where I started looking at comments after the news came out, and they were so racist.
Yeah,
Because immediately people were like, what savages, what barbarians, how can they even do that? And so, it really did sort of trigger a lot of racist comments about
Yeah.
Koreans and Asians overall.
Mhm.
So that's a difficult one to grapple with, right? I mean, when you kind of put it in that context of, well, this is a tradition that's been going on a long time, and how is it different from eating other kinds of meat?
Yeah, it's a tricky question. It's a tricky one. I've been asked many times. I think the comments and the racial things, I think that's a lot of emotion, emotion-based stuff that's bound. I mean, this day and age, it's almost impossible to avoid that stuff, unfortunately. But with Korea, like you said, I think looking at a country's history is very important.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a country of the history of a lot of war and occupation and times of severe hunger and starvation. A lot of things like this are born from that. In Korean culture to this day, when you greet someone, May, sometimes the third sentence is, have you had lunch?
Have you eaten? Yeah, have you eaten?
And that's directly from there were times when they hadn't.
Yeah.
And
You
so
got it.
that's tied to that. And during those times, they did what they could to feed their people.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it that way, you can empathize a bit more. As far as, for me, when I'm asked the question about, cows and pigs and chickens, I simply say, this is my cause. This is what I'm focused on. I have a love for dogs. I've grown up with dogs. And that's as far as I go with it.
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing to answer, and every culture is different and they have different beliefs, and it's hard to satisfy everyone. So I just kind of keep it personal.
Yeah, it must be really very, to keep it personal is the only way you can take a righteous stance, because you being an American of Korean descent, are you playing a Korean American in the film in Dog Days?
In Dog Days, yes. In Dog Days,
Okay.
yes.
So again, to ask for your position as to a banning in a country that you're literally is a motherland, and then you coming in as American, you're going to be, saying stuff that people are going and targeting you for your answers. So to be very sensitive and to be very culturally aware of where you are from and where you're standing, how you stand, is absolutely the only thing that you can do. You're not dictating policy. You're not legislating change. You're just coming from a very personal place. And I think for May, Kelly, and I, you're coming from a place of anti-concern, is that, you're doing the best you can. And, again, thank you for being so aware about not being able to satisfy everybody. But the cause of what you're doing is an evolution. It's an evolution. It's like, as how we only correctly eat pig, cow, and goat, but then people across our nation eat rabbit and squirrel and possum, and us West Coast people will go, oh my God. But then we're also moving to a more vegan experience and eating more bugs. So again, it's constantly evolving. And I just want to congratulate you on doing what you're doing in terms of Korea and its dog ban.
I'm sorry, I am drawing the line at bugs.
Actually, crickets are yummy.
They're delicious. They are
are.
delicious.
They're like little crunchy bits. Yeah. Anyway.
They're crunchy bits. It's like bacon all the time.
Wait, sorry, Daniel. What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
What kind of bugs are we talking about here?
Usually crickets.
Mealworms specifically. A bear.
No.
Yeah, mealworms, crickets, beetles, certain beetles. I mean, we can literally go down the bug hole or the rabbit hole there, but in certain societies, it's a mainstay. So
great
it's like,
source of protein. It's a great source of protein. That's why they're saying
I'm glad other people are doing it.
Yeah,
Yay.
Kelly's like, yay for them.
But again, we
I'm
have a
not there
choice.
yet.
Yeah, we have a choice.
Yeah, we do.
have a choice.
We do. Well,
I mean, I think on this issue, to be honest with you, you're right. Me being an American, and that's been, I think, where walls were put up in the past, especially with groups from the States coming over and trying to demonize and take that angle, and that just wasn't working.
Yeah.
Everyone had good intentions. It just wasn't working. The country wasn't ready for it. So I think that having spent so much time in Korea as an American, I mean, I literally feel like it's my second home. And so I do understand both sides in a way.
Yeah.
So I have a unique perspective as far as that goes, but it's still a tricky thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy with this progress.
Yeah.
What kind of backlash did you get specifically? Is that something that you could talk about? I mean, were there threats, or because this is, like you're saying, this is people's livelihoods. You're dealing with their money and their families.
Yeah, I've never personally received backlash. I stay off comment sections. I don't, if videos go up,
Smart.
I've learned a long time ago not to even go into those sections. What I'm, regarding the farms themselves, I think the issue we get when I've been a part of a couple, they call them kind of raids, but we're going in to try to negotiate with farmers.
Yeah.
To get some, for a long time, it was just how many animals can we get out? It wasn't shutting down the whole farm. And now they're at a point where they're shutting down whole farms, and some of those farms have the infrastructure and are large enough. They've transitioned the farms into blueberry and strawberry farms and things like that. So the family is still able to function.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But that's been the major issue, is that it is in fact their livelihood. So
Yes.
you are taking away their source of income,
Right.
and their family's source. And so what are they going to do? And you can't just step back and say, well, you shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. That's bad.
Right.
Because that's not even a thing.
No.
Right.
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 We'll have to redirect
I've had a lot of interesting things happen. I mean, we've been able to get dogs out with money. We've been able to get dogs out with a case of Jack Daniels. Some of the farmers that are very rural, they don't want the things you might think they want,
Huh.
And so it's been an interesting experience.
Wow.
Yeah, because I have some data here. So they have South Korea has around 1,600 dog meat restaurants and almost 1,200 dog farms as of 2023. So
Yeah.
they, that's a lot of businesses that
It
have
is.
to close
For a small
down.
country.
Yeah.
But if you can redirect them into something that's going to be even more lucrative, then that gives them more incentive, right, to change. Otherwise, if you're asking them to take a loss, there's no reason for them to want to do it except, for the penalties. And some people might just pay the penalties. Like, what kind of penalty is it? Is it jail time?
It's
Is it
jail time.
financial? It's actual jail time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure now what that would be, but in my experience, it's always been. I mean, it's all situational, right? So each place is different. Some farmers are just like, just give me the cash and take the farm, take the dogs. It's that simple. Everything is different depending on which situation it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Kelly, to answer your question, it says the dog meat, if they're found guilty of raising dogs for meat or selling dog meat, they could serve a maximum of 2 years in prison.
Oof.
So yeah, it's serious. It's serious. But again, I mean, and here's the other point that needs to be made that people may not understand is that a lot of these dog farmers and restaurateurs, they're older. Right? These aren't people in their 30s and 40s. These are people 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, they're of that older generation. They can't they can't start another career. What are they going to do? Right?
Right.
So
Are those the consumers as well, or are young people also eating dog?
No, those are it's very much an older generation thing.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to clarify. It's you don't see it on the menu in Korea.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you go to specific districts.
Right.
Yeah.
My first experience with it was when I was shooting a film and we were doing night shoots and we were way out, hours outside of Seoul. And we were in this area where there were restaurants there. And, I'd seen some for the first time. So it's not like, it's everywhere in every restaurant. Right. I rarely see it, to be honest with you.
Right.
But I would liken it to people who eat alligator here in the States or something like that. It's just a smaller country, so it's more concentrated.
But speaking of personal tie to this particular issue, Daniel has rescued dogs from these dog farms, from the meat trade.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Two.
Do you have 6 as well? Do you have 6?
Yeah, he would love to have 6. He would love to have 6. You have 2. Are they around? Can they make an appearance?
I can probably get one out. I'll see if she'll come out later. Julia might come out. I just brought one home actually from Korea 2 days ago.
Get out!
To my friend who's a chef here in Santa Monica and his wife who's a stunt woman actor. And his name was, the firefighters found him on a street. So I think he was stray from maybe a farm or something. Golden retriever. And we got him his shots and his surgeries and all that stuff. And he flew back with me on Asiana flight down below. And he's now in Beverly Hills.
Oh my God.
Living the life.
Isn't that amazing?
Holy moly.
That is, I know. I love that story. I love the fact that these dogs are being saved. Oh my God. Oh my God. That dog must be like, what the hell just happened to me? That's awesome. Thank you for doing that, Daniel.
In Korea, they have a program. If you volunteer, I think it's Korean Air and Asiana. Anyone who's flying back from Korea, you can volunteer to travel with the dog. And otherwise, it's hard for them to get the dogs sent over. But if you as a passenger volunteer to check in a dog, they'll bring that dog to the airport in Korea.
Look at Kelly Who's new job.
How did I sign up?
So again, repeating. Sorry, I interrupted you, Dan. So Asiana and Korea Airlines will have those 2 programs.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't
Kelly,
it doesn't affect your checked baggage allowance. You can still check 2 or 3 depending on what you're flying. And then you basically check the dog in, sign some papers as if it's yours, but they all know what's happening. You fly, say, to LAX and you land here, go to the oversized baggage area where the animals come out, take them through customs, and it's no problem. And then the family who's adopting the dog will meet you at the airport and you hand them off.
Oh my God. I love
Look at Kelly Who's face. Oh my God.
I love that so much.
Henny Who project, to get the dog.
I know. Daniel
Oh
and I
my
were
God.
talking about this a couple weeks ago at the Clippers game about how this would be so great for people, business travelers especially, who go back and forth to Korea all the time. And
Yeah.
they have like a carry-on or whatever, but they could easily do this and bring
It's
a dog
totally a
back.
win-win-win for any business person to
Totally.
up their brand. It's like
Yeah,
you put up
great
a
idea.
TikTok,
Yeah,
a
I'll
little
bring a dog
IG
back.
live video of a rescue and how you can
we find
participate.
links? We find links and post it, please.
I can send all the information to May, and then
Yeah.
you guys can. If you're ever in Korea, please bring one back. But
Are you
every
kidding?
time
I'm going now.
I know. And Daniel offered, as we all know, I lost Eggy back in October. And so Daniel has offered, May, whenever you're ready, we'll get you one. And so, I mean, that's definitely something that is in the back of my head. I know. I mean, once you have two, you can have three. I mean, it doesn't matter. I think it just doesn't matter. I see why President Yoon has 6, easy to get up there. So, but yeah.
So here's my question though. You know how there's so many people who are like, oh, they have to have a purebred dog, or they have to have, some sort of fancy kind of lap dog or whatever. Like, I know, right? But what kind of dogs are they all purebred dogs? Are they like the fancy kind, or are they all mixed?
It's a mix of everything, and depending on where they're coming from. So a lot of the puppy mill dogs are purebred because they're breeding for that reason, right? The people want the dogs of that are purebred. Very few pure golden retrievers will be on the farms, but every once in a while you'll find one.
Oh, there's one. She's coming. Who is this?
This is Julie.
Juliet? Oh, my girl. Hi, girl. Hi, sweetie. Look at that. She's like, I'm not letting go of my ball.
I'm not letting
her safety bowl.
Oh.
Because she was on the farm by herself for years. She was raised there. And so she disconnects. So whenever she gets excited, she puts this in her mouth.
Oh my God. I just, seriously, what do you do? I mean, what do you do about that? Look at her face. Look at her face.
She's acclimated quite well. How old was she? How old was she?
In the beginning, she was 3, and now she's 6. And she was very raw, but Daddy's trained her, and she's gotten much better. And
ooh. I just want to do that. Oh my God. Daniel, we said we were going to have a doggy play date, so we still have to do that. Because he has another.
I want to bring him back. Sure.
He has 2. Remember, he has 2 of these.
2. Yeah, Roscoe's my other one. He was on a meat farm too.
Yeah.
And he's my old boy. He's 12, and he's been battling cancer for 2 years. He's beat it. He's in remission. He's a little warrior.
Unbelievable. I know. Are they, I remember talking to you about this because, we're like this. We're both very much alike when it comes to the dog situation. There are days when I just look at my dog and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm literally paralyzed because the dog is so fucking cute. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And Daniel was like, oh my God, me too. He's like, you wouldn't believe the things I say to my dogs.
If it was recorded like out of context, what I say to my dog, let me tell you the weirdest shit that I do.
God.
I think it's so funny that I threaten their lives, but I give them an exact time the next day that I'm so I tell them tomorrow it's on. It's tomorrow's the last day. That's it. 8 o'clock tomorrow. It's all over. This whole thing you see,
it's done.
With.
Yes.
You're done.
Yeah. You're done.
Oh,
just look at me like,
oh my God. I know.
Oh
I mean, look,
God.
there's a reason why we love dogs so much, because they are clearly sent from a heavenly place to teach us all about unconditional love, living in the moment, just being present, being grateful for every moment, right? Never judging. I mean, the dog is the perfect creature, I have to say.
there's some
Mine
side
is still
eye from
teaching me
dogs.
patience.
Yeah. They're going,
I got a rescue. My dog came from this woman who was like living with 27 dogs in
Oh,
her
yeah.
car. And so my dog's a little not right in the head. So yeah, I'm still trying to get mine to like me.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
pro-
she might like me, but she's just not. She's scared. She's still scared of me.
yeah.
Does she
But-
need a
And I've had her
companion?
for 2 years.
See, Daniel's got it right. He's got two. You all need two of your loved creatures. So again, next time, May, your next trip to dog heaven, you have to pick up two, and
Yeah, I
you need
may.
a companion.
I
You need
may.
a
I'm telling
companion,
you,
Kelly.
whenever you're ready, let me know.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm like, it feels not quite right without two in the house. I mean, I love Sugi to death, of course, and she
Sugi's the
loves being
best.
spoiled. But yeah, two is a good number. And let's all agree. And I, of course, you don't have to. Of course, we all agree on this. But the idea of adopting and not shopping.
Yes, thank you.
Not getting the perfect little puppy that has been like, sort of bred and, and then bought for thousands of dollars. That to me, I will never understand. I'm not trying to be judgy, but I am being judgy.
No, actually, you got to call out what's being called out, because Daniel already mentioned the term before. It's like when you're hearing about puppy mills in Korea and knowing about this new legislation about the banning against dog puppy mills. There are those puppy mills that exist in the United States because they're for vanity projects. They're for
Yeah.
purebred. And it's like, it's
Right.
as, distasteful, for whatever word that you choose to describe it.
It's true.
And so to be able to say without judgment, this is an evolution for us as human beings to take care of domesticated animals in a more humane way is the only way to go.
Absolutely.
So to be able to be on the right side of history, as Daniel, you're doing it for dogs with not only the dog ban legislation, but for a film like this. It's like, who knew that God or whoever, destined in your career that you're going to do a dog movie at the same time that this legislation had passed. It's like, you're going to be in this position to speak about both things at the same time.
It's true.
And knowing that we're evolving it together and specifically in Korea. And it's like around the world as how we can get better as human beings is how we treat our animals. So, and you going, you being a pioneer in Korean American representation. It's like, that's what I think I'd like to just be able to call out and celebrate here at this time, because, you being humble and saying you're lucky. Yeah, you're lucky, but you're doing the work too. So bravo to you all the way, brother.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I can vouch because of experience that the rescue dogs, there's something special inside of them.
100%.
There's a real thankfulness that comes through. Once you get through, I mean, they all have their quirks, right? Because they've been through so much trauma.
Yep.
Yeah.
But once they latch on and they understand that you are now their mom or dad,
They're different.
they're
Yep.
different.
They know.
Yeah, it's kind of forever.
Forever.
Oh yeah.
Forever. Until.
Forever.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
waiting.
look at. Shut up. Just shut
Julie,
the
Julie,
fucking
Julie,
door.
Julie,
Just shut
Julie.
up. Oh my God, Juliet.
slapped
You're so
Julie.
pretty. You're such a pretty girl. Oh my God, look at us. This is what happens. This is what happens,
God.
right?
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Daniel, one question, and you do not have to answer it, of course.
Yes.
The news broke out about 2 months ago. It got out about you and your nuptials.
Yeah, I got married.
Yes. Now it came out as if you had
wearing
just
black armbands all around
Exactly.
the United States. I'm telling you.
No. Hearts were breaking around the world when this news came out 2 months ago. But it
Korea?
came out as if it had just happened, right? As if it was like, wow, oh my God, Daniel Henney just got married, but that wasn't actually the case, right?
It was last year.
It was last year.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it seemed the media is crazy.
Yeah.
We were I've always been a very private person,
Yes.
and it's always been a strange thing to me how, being in the public eye means you have to reveal everything about yourself. I just find that a very strange notion, but, Yeah, I think in hindsight, it worked out timing wise. The way it was presented to us was not great. We basically, the story was going to break and we didn't have a choice. It was going to come out. And so we were just like, all right, let's see what happens. But it's great. And my wife, Rue, is wonderful. My life partner, she's much more my better half than me. And she's been the greatest thing I think that's happened to me besides these wonderful rescue dogs.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
It's nice that it's out there, and I think it's up and up from here.
Did you not want to go public to protect her?
Yeah,
that
was the main thing. I don't know the chronology of our dating. It's been a while, off and on, here and there, but God, it must have been 6-ish years ago or something now, where there was something that came up because we weren't together at the time, but there were some pictures that came up. We had the same group of friends. We hung out a lot. Mm-hmm. And it was just the response was pretty intense. And at the time I was into her and I was like, I thought this thing was going to get going. Let's get this thing cooking, let's date. And she definitely stepped away because of it.
Oh, because of it.
Oh. Yeah, and I can respect that because I understood like this isn't for everyone.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And so after that, I was just like, well, if and when we do get together, I'll just try to protect her as much as possible.
I think what people in the U.S. might not understand is just how rabid a fan base they are in Asia. But like, I get it. Like when people found out that Jackie Chan got married, there were girls that like committed suicide and stuff. Like it's nuts.
Really?
Yeah.
Over
There's been
Jackie
some craziness.
Chan. Wow.
She had a lot of stuff on, because nowadays with the social media, where the comments are just right there, that people can just, it's ridiculous. People can just say anything and press send and there you go. And you can just hurt someone so badly.
Yeah. And she didn't ask for it. So wow.
No, and words are powerful and that's, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Do you guys do social media?
We do. Yeah. But I don't use it as much as I used to. It's a very useful tool, I think.
Yes, it is.
In certain ways, but it can be, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? I mean, it can be really harmful too. I think I always say this to my friends. I'm like, I think 50, maybe 100 years from now, we'll look back on this time and we'll be gone, but people will look back on this time as one of the most impactful times in human history.
Absolutely.
We have like the Industrial Revolution and all that stuff, but like the internet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is so profound, and I think we're still trying to figure it out, like what it's going to do for us and what we're going to do with it. And it's just it's a learning curve.
And remember, now we're dealing with AI and the impact that's going to have on the world. So there's a lot of shit happening, that's for sure. But
but I just want go ahead.
That I do plan to live for another 50 years.
Go, girl.
She will.
People
I know you will. I know you will.
They're going to be over 100.
Yeah, technology.
As long as you're healthy. I don't want to be that 100 and like sick and in pain. I mean, that's no life.
I do want
to
shoot.
You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is, Kelly, you're going to live for another 50 or 100 years. You're going to look exactly the same.
I know. I was just going to say.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
But again, for what you were talking about, about technology and social media, it's like we're all searching for connectivity because that's a basic human need, desire, want. And looking back and it's going full circle, it's not a hard push. But you look to your animals, you look to the dogs that you are advocating so passionately for, and how all four of us love our animals like they are our children. It's like that's. And they do it without words.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, they do it with a ball in their mouth, so they're not able to articulate anything. But it's about that sense of, energy. And I just, again, as long as we can just look at each other and say, I love you and, all power to you for wherever you want to do in life. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
And I have to be thankful for the internet because I got my dog, Julie. I saw her online first, and these things are really amazing things that are happening because of it.
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
connectivity,
absolutely.
all that's good too. So we're just figuring it out.
Well, we'll wrap this up because we don't want to take much more of your time, Daniel, even though we could talk for hours, I'm sure. One last story about Daniel and about his heart, actually. So I invited him to come to the Korean American Coalition Council's annual gala one year. And this was several years back. This was in the States, in Washington, D.C. And he very kindly accepted. And then I asked him if he would be willing to be auctioned off to raise money.
Was I?
Yes. And because of his heart and his kind generosity, he said yes. So that night at this black tie gala, they started, kind of getting the bids. The room went fucking crazy. And I mean, it was like a Tom Jones concert. I swear to God, if it went on longer, there would have been panties flying on the stage. And at one point, I remember, Daniel, you were blown away so much. You looked back at us, right, at the tape. You were like going, what is going on?
Oh, what did you do? Yeah, what did you get me into?
Pretty liquored up by that point. It was getting a little out of hand. It was intense.
Oh my God. So all these ladies, of course, were bidding on him. So we got one bid, the highest bid. And then because he's so fucking generous, he said, I'll do a second one for the same amount. So we raised twice as much.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think I read about this. Yeah, when it happened, it was like because of, again, it's so popular and you're doing it for a good cause.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I was just excited to be in Washington D.C. and I'm a small town kid. And I get to go. They gave me this beautiful award, and I'm just pinching myself. So I'm on stage. Rosie's in the audience. I'm like, what in the hell?
oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Try to raise some money.
I don't think we're allowed to do that kind of thing these days.
Probably, yeah. Probably not.
You know what I've had to do? They auctioned me off to cook them dinner.
No kidding. How'd that go?
I guess they did well because I had to put a pox on it. I go, I can't, because they initially did it for 10 and then they upped it to 20 person. And
Wait.
I go, I don't,
You can't do that.
I don't even cook like me at home. It's like, oh my God, what do you want me to do? But anyway, yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that look, the first bidder was a friend of mine, but that auction item, that her winnings, that just happened years later because the coordination was so difficult. So that literally just happened. And then the second one, Daniel, I think the couple came to visit you on set somewhere, something like that.
Visit me on set. Was it Criminal Minds?
Yes.
I can't remember now. It must have been Criminal Minds.
Something.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, but then we had COVID, right? So the whole world stopped for basically a year and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
What a weird moment that was. So, it's taken a while to pay my debts, but I think I'm paid for it.
No, but we still talk about that moment. It's going to go down in history as one of the greatest moments. So
if I remember correctly, I think it was $15,000 was the initial bid.
Yes.
And then you match it and it was like
so it's
30, 32 something was the total. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was
I remember the story. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So I think I'll take all credit for that. I
blame the booze. They must
you can
pain that night.
All right. Well, listen, Daniel, I am so happy that I finally got you to come on the show. And I adore you. You know that you're my 동생. So, but I'll see you soon. I hope.
Thank you so much. And you guys, I wasn't lying. I'm a huge fan of both of you. It was
we adore you. We adore you.
Team.
Thank you.
I hope
Happy
we can
New
do this
Year
in person one day. This would be fun. This would be really fun. Just dinner.
May arrange it
with our dogs.
By the way, we never get together in person. Like we've only been all three of us in the same room once since we started.
And we gotta get whenever Kelly comes back to LA. That's when we have to do this.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you, Kelly?
Right now I am in LA, but I moved to Las Vegas.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, to be near my mom. That's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
What about Tamlyn? Are you here in LA?
I'm in Glendale. Yeah, I'm a Valley girl, so totally
Okay.
in and out.
And May,
Yeah.
you're down by
On my island, on
your
Naples
island,
Island.
Naples Island.
And yeah, in southern tip of Long Beach. So I've told you, you need to come and visit and check it out because it's a magical wonderland.
I would love to. My mom and dad are coming in tomorrow. They're staying for a week, a little over a week, and then on the 29th, I'm off to South Africa. So when
that's
I get
right.
back,
Right.
we'll make it happen.
Let's make a plan for sure.
Oh, one last thing. Your University of Michigan?
No, I went to a small liberal arts school, like 40 minutes from U of M.
Okay, so but in the Michigan area, you went to school.
Oh, yeah,
I was going to congratulate you on this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, on
But
the
it's
championship?
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big win for the state of Michigan, and also the Lions are pretty good too. So
Oh,
we're,
no
I
kid.
know.
God,
Big-
that's a sentimental one.
Yeah.
For that team to be winning for Detroit. So I'm a huge football fan. So of course I watched all 6 games this past weekend.
Oh my God! But
Yeah.
it was a win-win with Detroit and Rams because it was Jared Goff, and it was like,
No,
he
that
was
was-
ours. Yeah.
That backstory
yeah.
was interesting too. So yeah. I know. We all love
yeah, and
sports
I'm
too.
still very much a Michigan boy. We spend every summer there. We have a little place on the Great Lakes, so we take the dogs up and they swim. It's a whole thing. It's great.
Oh. And I should mention,
Dogs.
Daniel has a best friend, Maddie, right? And they've been best friends since they were 14. And they still he lives here. He lives in LA and they're like
Is he
best
single?
buddies. It's so yeah, he is is he
As
single?
of recently, no.
Oh, okay.
And he's
They're all getting scooped up, those boys.
He's such a
He's a
nice
cat.
guy. I really like him a lot. He's such a nice guy.
he's super.
Yeah.
It's nice to, it's hard for as we get older, I think, to have those deep relationships, and it's harder to make friends, which is so weird. When we were kids, remember how it was so easy? Just, you want to be my friend? It was so simple.
Yeah.
And now we got all this stupid ass baggage where we got to sift through before we can, get through our own shit first. And, then,
Oh yeah.
and it's like,
you have less time to waste.
Yeah.
You got to be
less
really
time to waste.
about how you spend your time, and you don't want to spend it with people who are not going to be worth it.
No, absolutely not. It's
I agree.
it's quality over quantity for sure.
Yes.
So
yeah.
and Maddie is definitely quality. He's a really good guy. And from Michigan. Midwestern boys, right? Just like
Absolutely.
good
Salt
to
of the earth.
yeah, salty there, good and from the soul. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap this up. Daniel, thank you so much. We will see you soon.
It was a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the quality and the quantity of time.
I'll listen to Glory of Love tonight, thinking about you.
That's great. Okay, so if you weren't in love with Daniel Henney before, I hope you're totally in love with him
So
now.
I think lots of people are going to look forward to dog days, not
Yes.
be sad about dog days.
No.
So looking forward to Daniel Henney's dog days.
Yes.
So much to celebrate. I mean, with the news about Korea and the banning of the dog meat coming out at the same time as his film. I mean, what perfect, opportunity.
synergy.
Timing,
Yeah, exactly. It was timing couldn't be better on that. So so listen, we will put the information about helping bring a dog from Korea on a flight if you want.
I can't wait.
Obviously, and all other, but I will not.
I believe Seoul is the number 2 destination for world travelers. There was a poll out. I think Tokyo's first, and then Seoul is second.
Really?
And then I think Jeju Island is like within the top 5 as well.
Jeju,
So
okay.
if there's any reason to go to Korea and do a good thing, I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah, and if while you're there, if you want to get a little work here and there, they're the best.
Totally. Can we post some of those links to those?
I know. I've said to my girlfriends.
Refresh button.
Yeah, I've
refresh
said to my
button,
Korean American girlfriends, I'm like, we gotta just fucking go all together and just go on like this fucking medical
Group
tour.
rates.
Yeah, totally group rate. So anyway, see, many reasons to go to Korea, but we want to thank Daniel for sharing his time with us.
Daniel.
He's a busy guy, but he's so sweet. Love him. He's like my brother. So thank you, Daniel. And thank you all for watching. Remember, if you like the show, subscribe, rate us, review us, send us messages. We read all those messages. So And follow us on social media, of course. Okay? All right, ladies. Love you.
We love you, May.
We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.